Hi, it's our honor to invite Janet Hills today to talk about a few things, and she proposed the question, media on society. Yeah, let's hear what she has to say and what questions she has.
Thank you. The reason that I wrote that email to you about media and society is because in Western culture, the media plays a large part in how society views not only what's happening in our society, but outside of our society, like other countries. For example, like if you're talking about North Korea or Iran, those places we view in a certain way because of what we see on the news. And I'm just curious about how Taiwanese people view the things that they see on the news, if they put a lot of thought into that and a lot of truth into that. In our society, we put a lot of truth into the media. We believe that they're very egalitarian and that they don't have a specific leaning when a lot of them actually do. So I'm just curious to know about how Taiwanese people see that.
Okay. Thank you for this question, because I do think a lot of our audience wants to know about this. You mentioned Iran and North Korea. Because of factionism, last time I mentioned we're also running for president on January 14th. So everything is focused on election, and it's pretty sad that we don't get much international news. So people here know about maybe Iran or North Korea, and North Korea is a hot topic now, those 2 days. And but there aren't much detail, and we're just sort of running a circus. Like democracy. There's a theory that in the end, if there is no check and balances, and I also mentioned republic as a system to sort of stop democracy evolving into like a circus. Everybody is just looking for entertainment, basically. And there aren't a lot of educational debates or programs for people to know what's going on around the world. It's really a shame.
And I guess the other thing I'm thinking about, too, is in Canada, we have a pretty biased media. We have a national media that basically is paid by not by the government, not by special companies. And that media, most Canadians believe to be very egalitarian, like I said before. But in the United States, where you lived for some time, there are news agencies like Fox News or other agencies that are bought out by specific companies, and those companies kind of push their leanings on the news agencies. For example, right, Fox News leans towards Republican. Right. So when you see things on there, you see like Rush Limbaugh or like, these types of programming where people are really pushing that sort of agenda. Do you have that in Taiwan? Is that something that is available here?
Yeah, I like to say also because media needs money. So they need, TV commercials to support them. And basically, we have two big portions. One is called the blue media, or the other is called the green media. And the blue media, because the current government is KMT. So the blue media is actually more influential. And the green media has less exposure. And sometimes when there is something going on, like a scandal or something, and because there are more channels talking about, say, something more beneficial to the blue parties, then there is a lot of bias. And also, BBC is now almost bankrupt, so. Right. What about CNN? What's your take on CNN, though?
Being a journalist myself, I'm not really, I don't really enjoy CNN. BBC, I prefer. The Canadian Broadcasting Company, which is the media in Canada, they are almost bankrupt as well. The government isn't, supplying them with a lot of money. But CNN, I think that they're supposedly impartial. They're supposed to be like the BBC of America, kind of. But I find that a lot of the stories kind of lean towards, I would say, probably the Republican, probably Republican government instead of being more egalitarian. And a lot of the stories on those channels are not necessarily anything that's interesting, or it's just, something that people don't really want to know about. Something that they reused from another agency. One thing I am really curious about is in Western countries, we use YouTube a lot, and we use, other sorts of media personally to come across with our own type of information, what we feel, somebody might get on and say their opinion. Do Taiwanese people do this often?
A lot of Taiwanese people do use YouTube, but there aren't a lot of people who use organizations. There are independent media, I think, have talks, but there aren't really. They did a lot of copying from news, to try to say a story. I guess there is diversity, but at the same time, I don't see a lot of organized, YouTube. What do you say? Media. Are there organized media in Canada, or in the States, that talk about current issues?
Absolutely. There's a lot of blogs, there's a lot of channels where people always come on and talk about different things. There's a lot of expression. There's a lot of kind of truth searching, the government said this, what do we think about it? Or we heard this from the media, what do we think about it? With local news, we don't really question that. Or sorry, we do question that more, with our government. But international news, we don't question so much. What's going on in North Korea, are there missiles aimed at South Korea or not? We don't really question that. We think, oh, it's so bad. Because it's not where we live. But I'm just, I guess, curious in that respect, too. Do Taiwanese people question that sort of thing?
I think Taiwanese people are a little isolated in terms of international media. And you see what's going on in Iran. It's like what happened with Iraq and United States. It was all biased, right, for the Americans. Yes. Right. So now we're finding out truth, and people are becoming more educated and skeptic about what they see. I think people are getting smarter and wiser about whatever topic media tries to present. And we only have 1 minute. Do you want to sum this up?
Sure. I guess just, generally I think that Western people and Taiwanese people aren't too different in those ways. A lot of Western people think that they know about other countries, but they really don't. Exactly. So Taiwanese people don't presume to know, which maybe is a little bit better in the end.
Yeah. It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't have time yet. Okay, so I definitely want more freedom of expression, and I do want people to be more informed. And that's what also these talks are, not just about those, but we don't want to just be political, but what we try to convey is freedom of expression. And okay, talk later.